What's going on, Comic Book Nation? I'm Jim Viscardi, and we are here at Comic-Con San Diego 2022, and in our studio, we have got the cast of Green Lantern, Beware My Power. Yeah. And I'm going to introduce you guys in a second, but I want to share this anecdote that you guys are going to say. You guys have done this movie, and this is the first time that you guys are here. Together, and so we've got
in the same room.
We're in the same room. That's incredible. We got Brian Bloom, Jimmy Gray Hader, Alice Hodge, and Jimmi Simpson. Guys, welcome. Tell me about meeting each other. Did you guys know each other before this, or is this like?
Brian and I worked together on Call of Duty Infinite Warfare.
Okay.
So we spent a lot of time together.
Ton of time together. But we haven't seen each other in a long time, so this is all
right.
And actually, my husband already knew Aldous and Jimmy.
Her husband worked with me on a show like back in 2015 called Underground. It's back in the day.
Yes, they were both so good in that show, and I enjoyed your performance. And I know Jamie through Michael, and then Brian. I'm meeting him for the first time, but I've been a fan of his since about 30 years.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So,
so nice. I'm a fan of yours right now.
Is this what we're gonna do the whole time? It's just like big compliments that we're gonna
each other. It's gonna be awesome, guys. Look, Comic-Con's back. And it's been a really cool, fun experience so far this week. I got to ask you guys, this is such a hub and a mecca for collectors in general, and so I've got to ask, when you guys come to these things, are you, if you can sneak out to the floor wearing a mask or whatever, are you on the hunt for anything? Do you guys what do you guys collect?
Such an interesting question.
Well, I mean, I can get in there. I see, old school OG Spawn sitting right here on the table. I grew up a massive Spawn collector.
Oh, that's awesome.
Super Spawn, Batman was everything for me. Nightcrawler, Gambit, Wolverine. Then I got a little bit later into a graphic novel called Rising Stars, which was really awesome. So right now I'm just kind of dipping into, I'm exploring. I'm getting into the Funko Pops.
I say, look, that's a slippery slope.
Sounds like you're going to start a bunch of new collections after you walk around
I might, there's a couple toys out there I might need to snatch up, some toys wearing some green stuff, I don't know. So.
How about the rest of you guys? Are collecting anything, or you just...
I don't really collect things, but I just like being in an atmosphere where everybody's in their element.
We had someone earlier, actually yesterday, just confessed to a toaster collection. They collect vintage toasters.
Toaster collection.
Yeah.
Do they have a garage?
Yeah.
I'm like, I live in New York. That sounds like it takes a lot of...
And he said they're all on display. It was incredible.
Probably production True West that would come in handy, right, guys? Big Sam Shepard reference, you guys, right? Anyway, I collect personal flaws. We've got a huge collection. But
yes, I collect people I need to apologize to.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Alice, I'm going to throw it to you first. This is the first time that Jon Stewart's gotten his own feature film, leading a feature film. I got to imagine that's pretty cool, being able to step into the role like that. What was your reaction to getting the role? And
I just thought it was cool, man. Yeah. Like I said, I grew up on comics, graphic novels. Definitely was a Green Lantern fan, a Jon Stewart fan. So when that happened, I was like, "Are y'all for real? Like, you sure about this?" You know what I mean? Like, me? What did I do? But for me, it was awesome just because I've always wanted to be a part of that world. Especially to step into those shoes. Big shoes to fill, after predecessors who came, who I grew up watching, who I was a fan of myself, so I just saw it as a awesome opportunity, but really more of a responsibility to make sure we knock this out, because it is the first film, which is an honor and a privilege, and I know the fans are looking for something big, something dynamic, and, you just don't want to watch it and be like, oh, he sounds funny. Oh, can we re-record? I know they got a better tape than that.
Not the goal? Sounding funny wasn't the goal?
But,
you nailed it.
Yes. It was just awesome, man.
I gotta ask because, obviously you're playing Hawkman, and in this movie you fight Hawk Girl. Did you know that? Did you have Hawkman before doing that, or was
I was Green Lantern before Hawkman.
All right.
And there's a strange duality of that. It's like, so you're supposed to be with me, but you're with me in the other world. So which me are you with? You know what I mean? But no, with this one, man, I thought it was awesome just because they get to explore the inception of, because it's a well-noted relationship between Jon Stewart and, you know, Hawk Girl, you know what I'm saying? You know, for those that know,
you mean Hawk Girl?
Hawk Girl.
There you go.
Hawk Girl. I'm just saying, I don't know who know the business, but it's awesome that we get to explore sort of the early stage of what that dynamic became and how they, you know, came. Hey, I mean, how do you feel about it?
Yeah, I was just saying, because I was going to toss it to you, like, no, Hawkgirl is a character, a beloved character, and the take here is a really intriguing one. And so, like, stepping into the role, was there, you know, what did you kind of take into consideration in wanting to make sure you portrayed in your performance?
Well, number one, Hawkgirl was created by DC in 1941. Which, at a time when a lot of people weren't really creating strong female characters like that, I mean, we're still struggling to get those characters. So the fact that they were ahead of the curve is huge to me. But then, like you were saying, it's a lot of responsibility where you kind of go back and look at the history. You decide what's consistent so you can give the fans what they want to recognize, but then you also have to put your own spin on it, because like a lot of superheroes in comics, they span the test of time. They really kind of, you know, they are able to be reapplied and, you know, relate them to different conflicts in current times, and that's one great thing about it. So it's about trying to find that balance, honoring what has been, but also bringing something new to it, because like you said, you're like, oh, you asked me to do this? I must be bringing something to the table. So honoring her badassery was very
awesome.
important to me.
That's awesome.
And she's a beast. She is a beast. That's for real.
Favorite entrance of any character I've ever played. She doesn't say anything for the first 5 minutes except for
I thought the same thing when I was watching it.
She's often tense.
Just needs a hug.
well, like you're saying, to bring out some of her warmth when you see her relationship with the other characters. I think that was one thing that was interesting about finally getting to watch all of our performances together. Is she wants to be one-note warrior, very mission focused, you know, very much of military mentality, but these characters kind of force her to let her guard down because she's got to work with people that she normally wouldn't want to be in a team with. So I like that kind of layers. Makes it interesting.
Jimmy, Green Arrow has been portrayed, you know, on TV for a real long time, and he's had a number of different iterations kind of through the comics and stuff like that. What did you do to kind of, you know, either take from some inspiration and make sure that, you know, you're putting your stamp on Green Arrow?
Well, yeah, you know, I've always been a huge fan of Green Lantern. He was my guy for Super Friends. He was the one I watched Super Friends for.
Great.
Friends.
And also sometimes the Wonder Twins. The Wonder Twins were great. Form of an ice cube.
Yes.
So, but Green Arrow specifically, like Hawkgirl, was conceived and introduced in 1941, and like Hawkgirl was kind of ahead of its time, putting a rich white man in the forefront of a story. It was like, yes, finally.
A novel.
It's never happened before.
But that, I mean, you know, I found his kind of genesis intriguing, and it's kind of here and there, but I do like the figuring himself out alone on an island. Whether it's the story where he's coming from money or archaeology or whatever, but he's there by himself, smelting iron to make arrows. Like, it's great. It's great. And you know, I've had a couple of renaissances in my life, and so I just kind of plopped that right in there. Nice. And then they wrote it so beautifully. So it was just so fun to be able to bring it to life, because they gave us the blueprint.
Yeah, you were great.
Brian, your take on Adam Strange is a bit different than I think fans would come to expect. And so, were there any touchstones for you as far as inspiration and what you wanted to get across there?
I think, for me, I like to think about these things. I like to ground them as much as I can, and I try not to really pay attention to what the other actors may have done with these roles in the past, so that I don't end up trying to emulate, because I'm a fan too. So I try to keep some distance.
Right.
But you know, there's the story for Adam Strange has a lot to do, I think, with second chances, and maybe that really for all the characters in a certain way. You know, PTS, former military with Jon Stewart. And this idea that your initial impressions of people or the world or the universe or your universe maybe isn't what it seems.
Right.
I thought all those things were things that we can all relate to Everybody can identify with that concept in some way. So I try to take something that's incredibly supernatural and just kind of bring it down into real life. And
That's
hopefully
awesome.
I did that. I also grew up watching Super Friends, Justice League. So, one thing I really liked about watching this over the last few days was channeling that sort of, it has some of that 70s feel in the animation. It has, and some of these performances, and now that I know that some of us kind of grew up watching some of that stuff, I can see we brought some of that in, and I really, that's in my DNA from just being a kid and watching Saturday morning cartoons, so I can't escape it.
That's it. It's great because I think like what animation does for so many is bring folks like just kind of into the fold, right? Like it's many of their first experiences into that stuff, and so that's awesome. I got one more question for you before I let you guys go. What is there a thing or a moment that you guys are basically just kind of like waiting, without obviously giving any spoilers, but like waiting for like social media to see like how people react to the show, and share some of your own reactions to just kind of seeing that moment in the script?
Heavy fingers. That moment's going to be so dope, I think, when they first see that.
Yeah. I will say that third act.
Yeah.
I would say that finale, when you get to understand everything and the way it is, it makes you look at the entire film different. That third act, that's where you need to be at.
That's it. Nice. All right, guys, thank you so much for spending some time with us today. We really do appreciate it.
Awesome.
For more on Comic-Con 2022, keep it locked into Comicbook.com.